Namaste. My name is JVN Manisha Singh, Assistant Professor in Department of Food and Biotechnology under Faculty of Agriculture and Veterinary Sciences in Jyoti Vidyapeeth Women's University, Jaipur. I am teaching you subject Unit Operation in Food Industries for class BSc FST second semester and BTech FBT second semester. In previous session, we were discussed all about the types of heat transfer, basically the heat transfer and the principle of heat transfer and the type of heat transfer. Okay. In today's session, we will discuss about the heat exchangers, in which we will study the principles of heat exchangers and the types of heat exchangers. Okay. So let's start the topic. What is heat exchanger? Heat exchanger is a piece of equipment built for a efficient heat transfer from one medium to the another medium. Okay, the media may be separated by a solid wall so that they never get mixed or they may be in the direct contact. Okay, they are widely used in space heating, refrigeration, air conditioning, power plants, chemical plants, petrochemical plants, petroleum refineries, natural gas processing, and the sewage treatment. Okay, so the classic example of heat exchanger is found in an internal combustion engine in which circulating fluid known as engine coolant flows through radiator coil and air flows past the coils. Okay, so which cools the coolant and heats the incoming air. Okay, now what is the principle of heat exchanger? So heat exchangers work because heat naturally flows from high temperature to the lower temperatures. Okay, therefore if a hot fluid and a cold fluid are separated by a heat conducting surface and can be transferred from hot fluid to the cold fluid. Okay, so heat can be transferred from the fluid to the cold fluid. So two fluids of different temperatures are brought into the close contact, but are prevented from mixing by a physical barrier. There in between there is a physical barrier. Okay, so the temperature of the two fluids will tend to equalize. So by arranging the counter current flow, it is possible for the temperature at the outlet of each fluid to approach the temperature at the inlet of the other. The heat contents are simply exchanged from one fluid to the another and the vice versa, and no energy is added or removed. So heat transfer depends upon the following factors. What are these factors? The type of material between the fluids, thickness of the material, surface area of the material, type of fluid, gravity of fluid, flow rate of the fluid. So what are the basic equation defining the principle of heat exchanger? So heat exchanger theory leads to the basic heat exchanger design equation. Q is equal to U dot A dot delta TLM, where Q is the rate of heat transfer between the fluids in the heat exchanger and U is the overall heat transfer coefficient. A is the heat transfer surface area, and delta TLM is the log mean temperature difference calculated from the inlet and the outlet temperatures of both the differences, both the fluids. Okay, then there is log mean temperature difference, okay, which is also known as LMTD. The LMTD is used to determine the temperature driving force for heat transfer in flow systems. Most notably, in heat exchangers, the LMTD is a logarithmic average of the temperature difference between the hot and the cold streams at each end of the exchanger. The larger the LMTD, the more heat is transferred. Okay, the use of the LMTD arises straightforwardly from the analysis of a heat exchanger with constant flow rate and the fluid thermal properties. So we assume that a generic heat transfer has two ends where we call it A and B, at which the hot and cold streams enter or exit on either side. Then LMTD is defined by the logarithmic mean as delta TA minus delta TB upon ln delta TA upon delta TB, where delta TA is the temperature difference between the two streams at end A, and delta TB is the temperature difference between the two streams at end B. Okay, the equation is valid both for the parallel flow, where the stream enters from the same end, and for the counter flow, counter current flow, where they enter from the different ends. Okay, so once calculated, the LMTD is usually applied to calculate the heat transfer in an exchanger according to the simple equation, that is Q is equal to UA, U multiplied by A into LMTD, where Q is the heat transfer. Okay, once where Q is the exchanged heat duty, which is calculated in the watts. U is the heat transfer coefficient, that is watts per Kelvin per square meter, and A is the exchange area. Okay, next is the number of transfer units, or you can say NTU methods. The number of transfer unit method is used to calculate the rate of heat transfer in the heat exchangers, especially in the counter current heat exchangers, when there is a insufficient information to calculate the log mean temperature difference, that is LMTD. In heat exchanger analysis, if the fluid inlet and the outlet temperatures are specified or can be determined by simple energy balance, the LMTD method can be used. But when these temperatures are not available, the NTU or the effectiveness method is used. NTU is equal to U upon U dot A upon C min, where U is the overall heat transfer coefficient, A is the surface area, C min is specific heat capacity of the cold fluid, and effectiveness of the heat exchanger is calculated as E is equal to 1 minus exponential minus NTU. Okay, so now we will study the classification of heat exchangers. Classification according to the with respect to the flow. So there are two preliminary classification of heat exchangers according to their flow arrangement. Number one is parallel flow heat exchangers. As the name indicates, the two fluids enter the exchanger at the same end and travel in parallel to one another to the other side. Okay. And counter flow heat exchanger is the fluids enter the exchanger from opposite ends, and the counter current design is most sufficient in that it can transfer the most heat from the heat transfer medium. Okay, next is the cross flow heat exchangers. In a cross flow heat exchanger, the fluid travels roughly perpendicular to the one another to the through the exchangers. Okay, then we have single and multi-pass heat exchangers. In actuality, most heat exchangers are not purely parallel flow, counter flow, or cross flow. They are usually a combination of two or all the three types of heat exchangers, and this is due to the fact that the actual heat exchangers are more complex than the simple components shown. The reason for the combination of the various types is to maximize the efficiency of the heat exchanger within the restrictions placed on the design, and that is the size, cost, weight, required efficiency, type of the fluids, operating pressures, and the temperatures, and all help to determine the complexity of a specific heat exchangers. Okay, so types of heat exchangers with respect to the construction is cell and tube heat exchanger, in which cell and tube heat exchangers consist of a series of tubes. One set of these tubes contains the fluid that must be either heated or cooled. The second fluid runs over the tubes that are being heated or cooled so that it can either provide the heat or absorb the heat that is required. A set of tubes is called the tube bundle and can be made up of several types of tubes. Plain, longitudinally, refined, etc. Okay, so cell and tube heat exchangers are typically used for high pressure applications with pressures greater than 30 bar and temperatures greater than 260 degrees Celsius. This is because the shell and tube heat exchangers are robust due to their shape. Okay, next type of heat exchanger is plate heat exchanger, and another, and that is one is composed of multiple thin, slightly separated plates that have very large surface areas and fluid flow passages for heat transfer. This stacked plate arrangement can be more effective in a given space than the shell and tube heat exchanger. Advances in the gasket and the brazing technology have made the plate type heat exchanger increasingly practical. Okay, so in HVAC application, large heat exchangers of this type are called plate and frame when used in open loops. These heat exchangers are normally of the gasket type to allow periodic disassembly, cleaning, and inspection. There are many types of permanently bonded plate heat exchangers, such as dip brazed and vacuum brazed plate varieties, and they are often specified for closed loop applications such as refrigeration. And plate heat exchangers also differ in the types of plates that are used and in the configuration of those plates. Some plates may be stamped with chevron or other patterns, where other may have mechanized fins or grooves. Okay, next is material of construction. The materials of construction used in the heat exchangers depend on the fluids or vapor being handled, process conditions such as pressures, temperatures, and the balance of initial cost against expected life and maintenance requirements. The material of construction used in the heat exchangers depends on the fluid or vapor being handled, process conditions such as pressures and temperatures, etc., and at a balance of initial cost against expected life and maintenance requirements. Any component of the entire unit can be made of materials such as carbon steel, stainless steel, nickel alloys, or other special alloys. Selection of material involves careful evaluation of the factors then other than the basic cost of possible metals compatible with the applications. Okay. So there are various types of heat exchangers. You can name it like double pipe heat exchanger, shell and tube heat exchanger, plate heat exchanger, plate and shell heat exchanger, adiabatic wheel heat exchanger, plate fin heat exchanger, pillow plate heat exchanger, fluid heat exchanger, waste heat recovery units, dynamic scraped surface heat exchanger, direct contact heat exchanger, havoc air coils, and spiral heat exchangers. In double pipe heat exchanger, it is also known as concentric tube heat exchangers. In this heat exchanger, the fluid to be cooled or heated passes through the tube, and the other fluid is passed through the tube one to absorb or release the heat. And advantages are the cheap for both design and for the maintenance, and disadvantages are the low efficiency and requires large space. Okay, so double pipe heat exchanger applications are, it is used for pasteurization, digester heating, heat recovery, preheating, and effluent cooling. Okay. So next is shell and tube heat exchanger. That is one set of these tubes contains the fluid that must be either heated or cooled, and the second fluid runs over the tubes that are being heated or cooled so that it can either provided the heat or absorb the heat required. They are typically used for high pressure applications. Okay. Shell and tube heat exchanger applications are, it is used for cooling of hydraulic fluids, cooling of engine oils, and cool or heat swimming pool water or charged air. Plate heat exchanger we already discussed. And the applications of plate heat exchanger is plate water heaters, cooling tower isolation, pre-cooling, waste heat recovery, heat pump isolation, and thermal storage systems. Next is the spiral heat exchanger. A spiral heat exchanger may refer to a helical tube configuration, and it is efficient use of space, and they can be easily cleaned. A spiral heat exchanger, or you can say SHE, is a coil tube arrangement with two channels coiled one around the another, and these two channels operate in a counter flow arrangement, offering excellent turn down ratios while optimizing flow patterns, which in turn enhance the heat transfer. Okay, so the applications of these are pasteurization, sludge treatment for thermal depolymerization. Okay, then how you select the heat exchanger? By the cost, high or low pressure limits, thermal performance, temperature ranges of the heat exchanger, product mix like liquid liquid particulates or high solid liquid, and the pressure drop across the exchanger, fluid flow capacity, cleanability, maintenance and repair of the heat exchanger, materials required for construction, and ability and ease of future expansion. So for the maintenance of heat exchanger, for plate heat exchanger must be disassembled and cleaned periodically. Tubular heat exchangers can be cleaned by such methods as acid cleaning, sand blasting, high pressure water jet, bullet cleaning, or drill roads. Okay, in large scale cooling water systems for heat exchangers, water treatment such as purification, addition of chemicals, and testings is used to minimize fouling of the heat exchange equipment. Other water treatment is also used in steam systems for plants, etc., to minimize the fouling and corrosion of the heat exchange and the other equipment. Okay. So from this session, the question may be asked like explain the heat exchanger with its principle, and also explain the different types of heat exchangers used in the food industry. Or they can bifurcate these questions like only explain the plate heat exchanger used in the food industries. Likewise, question will be asked. So prepare accordingly for your final exams. Thank you so much for watching this video.